Good morning, and welcome back to Live at the Legislature.
Cue cards for applause, you guys, senators.
My name is Aloha Lindsay, and I'm a member of the House Minority Staff here in the Legislature. So with us are two guests from East Honolulu, Representative Gene Ward, who serves as the House Minority Floor Leader and is the Leader Emeritus. He represents District 17, which spans from Hawaii Kai to Kalama Valley, and Mr. Mike Goodman, who is the Director of the Hawaii Kai Homeless Task Force. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here. Good morning.
Thank you. So obviously the big news of this week is the Governor's State of the State address, and for the folks who had missed it, the Minority Caucus had a press conference immediately afterward. And so Representative Ward, can you tell us a little bit more of what the Minority Caucus's response was to the address and sort of what you had said?
If you got 8 minutes, I've got the area that I think I'm going to go above and beyond. Have you actually started this? Is the countdown? Okay. The impression of yesterday, there's two takeaways basically. The first takeaway is the governor missed a great opportunity. I'm talking about the state of the state, and the takeaway that I think most of the people of Hawaii have taken. The great opportunity was to take the imagery of a father who's putting his daughter in a manhole to put that aside and address the people to assure them. The elephant in the room was, what about the missile alert? And he didn't mention that, and I think he missed a great opportunity to assure people, look, it's under a study, it's under investigation, it's going to be okay. He said how beautiful Hawaii was, but in effect, how much there had to be done to assure people. I call it Hawaii PTSD. People are still out there, and they need to have closure. The governor missed that opportunity. The second takeaway was when DBED said there's 65,000 housing shortages, the governor says, well, we're going to put $100 million in and we're going to fix housing. Well, $100 million is about 250 houses. We're not even getting close to having affordable housing or assuring what otherwise is a housing crisis. And related to that is the homeless issue. If I gave out Pinocchio Awards, when he said that there were 9% decrease in homelessness, I mean, you tell that to the people of Hawaii or my constituents, it just doesn't work. Homelessness is getting worse, and we've kicked the can down the road, and I don't see any solution except possibly for alternative housing or sorts of Hawaii First housing where the homeless can actually do things. And I think that's where my good colleague to my right, Mike Goodman, will know much more in detail.
So let's transition a little bit into that. So Mike, You're the Director of the Hawaii Kai Homeless Task Force, and for the folks who are watching, tell us a little bit more about the history of the task force, your role in it, and then any initiatives that you guys are introducing this session and are pushing for.
Well, the history of the task force doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have a bill that was promulgated by Gene Ward's office and is being introduced by Tom Brower in the House and by Willis Sparrow in the Senate. And it's the Puhunua Homeless Villages Act, or the P Homeless Villages Act. And it's a groundbreaking, earth-shaking bill because it will literally end the homeless crisis throughout the entire state of Hawaii, making Hawaii the first state in the country to do so. And it will do it by creating 8,000 units of fully subsidized housing, which is enough for every homeless person in the state. And it does it by using 21st century materials and modular construction. It does it for less than $200 million, which is far less than we're already spending on the ancillary costs to the homeless crisis, managing the chaos that's out there.
So that's a bold statement to say that, you know, the bill that you're promulgating will end the homeless crisis. So for the naysayers out there, for people who, you know, doubt that this piece of legislation will do that, what do you say to them?
Prove it.
Yeah, what I say to them is this. The causes of homelessness are incredibly complex. The solution is not that complex. The solution is a place to live. It's very simple. If you have a place to live, you're no longer homeless. There's no more crisis. Would we still have a housing challenged population? Of course. Would we still have a population of people that need wraparound supportive services? Of course. No one's going to put IHS out of business. No one's going to put the Salvation Army out of business. But all of these organizations will be far more effective if everyone has a place to live. Most of these organizations are spending a lot of their energy and time jumping through hoops, trying to find their clients a place to live. This will solve that problem. It solves it because we need to get off what I call the wood, brick, and mortar road. The yellow brick and mortar road does not lead to Oz. It leads to a homeless encampment under the H1 viaduct and the park in Kaka'ako. It's a disaster. And we've been on that yellow brick and mortar road for decades right now, and it's time to get off it. The alternative housing movement, such as tiny homes, modular construction, which is what we're talking about here, is sweeping the nation and the world. And this is being promulgated and tried in many parts of the country.
And so what are some of those parts? Or what are the sort of the shining examples of the alternative housing movements?
Well, it's starting in Oregon. It's starting in Los Angeles. They're talking about it in New York and other cities on the East Coast. These are movements that are taking root all around the country. And in fact, Dionne Warwick is promoting tiny homes and is doing a tiny homes tour, which is going to, in fact, they're going to have an event here in Hawaii, I understand, in March. So this is a movement that's moving around the country, and tiny homes is just one component of it. What matters is not the particular technology that's used. What matters is getting off that wood, brick, and mortar road, because to create 8,000 units of conventional housing would cost about $3.5 billion. All right, $200 million is about 1% of that. So the argument that wood, brick, and mortar housing is nicer and this would divert money away from that is a fallacious argument. And the reason is because at most it will divert 1% of that. Even if you're talking about Kauaiki Village, which the governor touted in his address, Kauaiki Village is a wonderful place, but that's not for the hardcore homeless. Kauaiki Village costs about $725 a month for one bedroom, about $925 a month for a two-bedroom, and it runs about $250,000 a unit. If you were to extrapolate that to house every homeless person in the state with lots of Kauaiki villages, you're talking about $2 billion. It's just not happening.
Okay. And we've got a little less than a minute left. So Rep. Ward, we just heard the speaker say that he looks forward to working with the Minority Caucus to move forward, these pieces of legislation. So what are some of, really quickly, the priorities of the Minority Caucus and where you see that you can agree with the majority?
Well, from my standpoint, in working off the homeless issue, is that the highest homeless population is the Hawaiian community. And there are 203,000 acres that we've given to DHHL. But after 100 years, we've given only 9,700 leases, and we got 27,000 on the wait list. I'd like to see the Speaker give $28 million, which the courts have said that they deserve.
Okay. And thank you for your time, gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.